Greetings everyone. My name is Seesunkur Akshar Mohnish and I'm a student of the Business and Management course at Rushmore in affiliation with Leeds Beckett University. This is my vlog for the SHRM module. A brief description: Debtbusters UK is a company in the debt management sector which has experienced growth in all terms, especially regarding the workforce, which took from 14 to 350 employees within 4 years. And to add to that, the company also reached the leading position in its market. Scoping on the question, we will be discussing HR issues and the significance on success of Debtbusters UK. We will be elaborating 5 main issues relating to its leverage on success and providing recommendations where possible. The first issue: low levels of motivation and employee engagement. Mentioned through the company's annual survey, the presence of low motivation and increasing tensions were made clear. This could be retraced to the fact that employees were pressured into being fast-paced and aggressive, and were low engaged by not being included in any decision-making process. The execution process was top-down. Feedback was attributed a low significance due to the rapid and immediate deliveries demanded by the company. Thus, employees' concerns were left unattended. Its significance on success is that this is totally in the grey area of what is currently needed from the employees, basing on Cromwell's initiative for the business development. Employee buy-in would be pivotal for the achievement of the vision. The recommendation would be the full implementation of methods that the managers formerly from General Electric were putting forward, that is brainstorming and communicative work sessions. The second identified HR issue is recruitment. The company was described to be strategically recruiting in a way where sensitive persons were perceived as a bad fit. So it means that the selected candidates could not display any signs of emotions in front of a superior. This could be summed through the Michigan model laid out by Tichy and Ivana, where it portrays a logical HR model depicting that to gain high profits, labor must be obtained cheaply, used sparingly, developed and exploited fully. Its significance on success, based on the Harvard model of SHRM set by Beer, it is observed that employees are as important as any other stakeholders in influencing organizational outcomes, and it could be compared to what the managers from GE are trying to implement. Third HR issue is poor performance. At Debtbusters UK, it has been stated that the employees are considered as relatives, and this is due to the absence of the individualist nature which is needed as an HR characteristic. Managers are seemingly not objective enough and biased in their decisions regarding one job's performance. It is also to mention that employees were pressured to find quicker solutions rather than right methods, so error and mistakes are prone to happen. The significance of success is this is directly proportional to the vision of the company. To evolve from an SME to a large organization, this entails that several milestones should be achieved. Therefore, poorly performing employees and overlooking of bad performance will be a problem. The recommendation is to implement an improvement-based personal development plan for each and every employee. A performance management scheme will enable monitoring on this aspect. A fourth HR issue is the informal job communication process. The way in which work is communicated to the employees is done in an informal and unrecorded manner. The aspect of not recording management information will set out any possibilities for auditing. Being in the debt purchase sector, the company should consider the event where they could face legal proceedings, and how their record in place can be used in court as evidence. The significance on success: work should be clearly defined and specified. Employees would be less confused and would be more driven and effective in delivering outputs. This will also promote regulatory compliance, which is essential for the business to thrive in the debt purchase market. The fifth identified issue is that subcultures are overshadowed by the dominant culture. The dominant culture of Debtbusters UK is a power culture based on the fact that Anthony Brown and the people close to him have been the only ones with decision-making power. It has been brought up that subcultures throughout the company have become more apparent, and that their queries were left unattended. Its significance on success is that the disregard of subcultures in the company will lead to much disaccord among the employees and the upper management, which may lead to unfavorable events such as employees going on a strike. The recommendation is that Debtbusters should find a way to effectively communicate, that is, they should negotiate a single union agreement with the employees and encourage them to form a trade union representing all subcultures for Debtbusters and creating only a one-to-one body for communication. Now looking towards the second question, we will be critically analysing the leadership styles at Debusters UK. As described by scholars, Shackleton depicted that leadership is the process in which an individual influences other group members towards the attainment of group or organizational goals. And similarly, Nordhaus suggested that leadership is consisted of four components. That leadership is a process, involves influence, occurs in a group context, all by involving goal attainment. Based on what we know about Anthony Brown and John Cromwell, they both have been operating in such contexts as leaders. Nevertheless, the above definitions do not precise in which style the leadership would have been better executed. Scoping on Anthony Brown, we can correctly deduce that he is far from being appreciated by his employees. The situation turned as such because he still led Debusters UK as if they were still a small team of people. To keep the decision making in his grasp, Brown kept influential people close to him. Others had little or zero input on the decision making. Also, force, fear and coercion was used by Brown to achieve his ends. This depicts the characteristics of an authoritarian and coercive leadership. Moreover, concerning the power culture present, it can also be deduced that a paternalistic leadership was present. In this case, the leadership Brown would have preferred, instead, would be an authoritative leadership. This type of leadership, as highlighted by Goldman, still takes into consideration the interpersonal aspects of leadership. Thus, an authoritative leader is someone that people are still willing to follow, and where the leader is perceived as extremely competent and recognized as an authority in his field. But a value-role conflict, as per described by Colwell, drifted Brown's authoritative leadership into an authoritarian one. In contrast, John Cromwell is a transformational leader who aims to bring change in Debusters UK through his strategy planning, that is, through his initiative of process improvement and change management program. And to make the program a success, Cromwell even went to promote employee buy-in and recruited people from GE as managers to canalize the vision into reality. Cromwell also had his setbacks in the way that he overlooked poor performance of employees. Basing on House's and Mitchell's path goal theory, this could be portrayed as a destructive form of supportive leadership. Regarding the managers, they are executing their jobs in the form of a participative leadership manner, through their teamwork and brainstorming sessions. Moving on, we will be now stating the impact of SHRM strategy planning. Brown's and Cromwell's leadership were opposing poles. Brown did not place his faith in Cromwell's strategic planning of controllership and formalization, and along with those loyal to him, they favored the overworking practices of unrestriction and informalization. The three main impacts of Brown leadership on the strategy planning were that, first, managers' orders to employees were deformed by Brown himself, and some of the senior management offered unauthorized interruptions. Brown was personally pressuring employees to disregard the manager's direction and to perform using his working style, and this even allegedly escalated to bullying from Mr. Brown. The second point is this kind of maneuvers created role incompatibility between Brown and Cromwell. The employees were confused about whose orders were to be taken and whose not. This role strain led to low morale and held as the main factor for demotivation among employees. Third point is the departure of four managers who were crucial in the strategic planning. The four departed managers represented 44% of the newly recruited managers. The company now reached a point where they were in a need to display a new core set of values, which would have been their responsibilities, and failure of such will lead to more demotivation and even cuts in bonus payment. Nevertheless, this problem would likely have been remedied too, as GE managers, as professional as they are, must have designed a proper succession planning. To conclude, Debusters would hopefully be way better off the Brown's leadership course, and a universalist approach should be worked towards. Moreover, applying Guest's SHRM model would help in keeping a balance between a hard and a soft SHRM, thus both achieving goals and satisfying stakeholders' interests. This was my analysis for the Debusters UK case study. Thank you for your kind attention.